Good morning, Bear Nation. It's Bear with BearIndependent.com. I wanted to just kind of talk at and talk around a concept briefly. I get a lot of praise, which is awesome, from people who say things like, Bear, we don't know where you find the time, or I don't understand how you have all the energy to, do all the different things that you do. And there's one of you out there, I don't even know if you're still here now, who's like, Bear, we get it, you're busy. Quit telling us about all the things that you do. Yeah, find another channel, bro. I have a wife and children. We have a homestead. We have an extended family. We have a tribe that we fellowship with and we do life with. We have a mutual assistance group. We have 3 internet-based businesses, 2 channels for me, 1 channel for my wife, and a 501c3 ministry that performs relief missions. Yeah. And did I mention the homestead? Animals and gardens and row crops and fix this thing and make that thing happen and blah, 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 blah. And so, the reason I'm bringing all this up is because a lot of people ask me, they're like, dude, how do I need a side hustle so I can get money for prepping, or I'm trying to transition, out of the city into the country, come out of her, my people, and my job is here and I don't have one there. What do I do? And so I just wanted to kind of illustrate one concept that I use, is that I start projects. I'm like, I'm gonna go do this thing, whatever it may be. We'll say, for example, first aid kits. Okay. I did a poll a long while ago on Patreon. What kind of bear swag do you all want? Do you want stickers? Do you want hats? Do you want morale patches? Do you want t-shirts? And then, just on a kind of a whim, I put first aid kits in there. You want first aid kits? And in the first day, there were 330 some responses, and over 60% of them were, yeah, Bear, we want first aid kits. Okay. Cool. Because I think I want to make first aid kits. But now I know that my audience, I know that there's a need and a want in the market, so that it's worth making this product. So if it's worth making this product, I might as well make it, right? So, point being here, sorry, there was a school bus maneuvering, so that was interesting. If I'm gonna make first aid kits anyway, now I know that this project of me making first aid kits, I was making first aid kits anyway. I was making them for myself, for my friends, for my family, right? I already know what needs to go in there. So how do we take this from a hobby or from a project to a business? It's like, okay, well, the first 100 bear facts that we sent out with them a questionnaire, and it said, be brutally honest. What do you think? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Good value, not a good value, blah, blah, blah. Give me your absolutely unrestrained feedback, good, bad, or indifferent. And we use that to get better, right? And then we got the Gen 2s, and so I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is that I didn't sit around and wait for things to be perfect to get going. And I mentioned recently on Men's Group Monday that I'm an 80% guy. If I'm 80% certain that this is going to work, I'm going. And that last 20%, I could very well be wrong. Cool. I care much more about my own sense of purpose than I care about whether or not somebody judges me from the sidelines saying, oh, well, your thing failed, Bear. Cool. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. You know, you enjoy sitting on your couch and criticizing other people who go do things. I'm going to go do things. And even if you do fail, you've learned from the doing. Hey, I know why I failed, because we're switched on and paying attention all the time, right? And so I'm kind of tap dancing all around this subject, but what I'm saying here is that there's probably a hobby or a project that you're working on right now that if you put 10% more into it than you are and applied some basic business skills to it, you could have a side hustle. You could have an extra revenue stream. Or at the very least, let's say you did make first aid kits. And I would encourage you, make the best damn first aid kit you can make. And market them head to head against mine, because the market loves that, because we'll both get better, right? Let's say you did that. Guess what? Now you're getting medical product at cost. So when it comes time to prep medical product, you're getting it at cost. Maybe you start a web store so that all the things that you're selling to preppers out there, you can get at cost for yourself to prep. You know, maybe you work a deal with Augustin Farms or Mountain House to be a supplier for them so that you can get their product at cost, right? This is not a novel concept. This goes way back. That sun is brutal. There we go. So if you just put 10% more effort into whatever that hobby is that you have right now, assuming you want to monetize your hobby, because there is a danger in monetizing your hobby. Believe me, YouTube was a hobby for me at one point. And now it's a blessing that we treat as a business and we apply sound business principles to. But you know, if you monetize away all of your hobbies, then there's no relief for you. There's no place for you to go that is just yours. So be careful of that. But you could take a hobby or an interest or a project or a passion and figure out a way to make money with it. Just by putting a little bit more into it than you are right now. Don't wait for things to be perfect at all in life, because they're never perfect. There's never a right time to get pregnant. There's never a right time to get that knee surgery. There's never a perfect time to start a business. There are better times and there are worse times, but there's never one that's perfect. So if you're 4/5 sure, if you're 80% sure, just go with it. Go with it. Better odds in the casinos, and there's jokers in there all day, every day. Just pulling that lever, waiting on the payout to happen. So I'm not entirely sure how to put the fine point on this that I'm trying to say, but it's entirely possible for you to create a revenue stream for yourself doing something that you love that will allow you to have money for whatever. Maybe you want to buy a new Peterbilt. Maybe you want to buy a new AR-10, right? Maybe you want to buy body armor before it's outlawed. Who cares? Whatever your thing is, who cares? As long as it's morally and ethically sound, I could care less what you do with your money. So that's the, Bear, how do you do all these things? That's part of it. I'm not sitting around burning time second guessing myself. I'm going. And if we fail, we fail. If we have to pivot, let's say, for example, the consulting business turns into, it's going great, but we're finding that most of this consulting is people that really want prepper construction projects done. Good, pivot. Now we're a prepper construction company. Am I upset about it? No, not in the least. Is the fulfillment there? Yup. Is the revenue there? Yup. Are we helping people? Yup. Who cares, right? So if you have to pivot, pivot. And then the time is the time. Prioritize and execute, and don't be fooled. Y'all only see a little bit of my life, and I mean that in a good way and a bad way. You only see the part of my life that I allow you to see, and so a lot of the times it very much so appears, wow, that bear, man, he's on top of it. He's getting all these things done. And I am, because I prioritize and execute. But I also, man, there are many a time when I check in with my accountability partners, you know what they tell me? Bro, it's time to prioritize and execute. You can't do all these things. You know, I have this constant back and forth with my Bava, my BA virtual assistant, who's a real human being whom I know in real life, Monica, and clap hand to Monica because she's awesome. We constantly are going back and forth. She's like, T, I think that you want to do this, but I don't think that you can do this because of XYZ. And I'm like, okay. I'm my own good idea fairy, right? So I'm constantly having to prioritize and execute. I'm constantly having to course correct, and I'm constantly having to make things happen. But when it comes to time and scheduling, it's just there's things that are important and things that aren't. And whatever those things are for you, those are your things. But what's important to you and what isn't? Like, frankly, I don't care, and I do not condone my kids, like each kid being in 3 different after-school activities each quarter. No way, man. Number 1, focus on the one thing that you're good at and brings you joy and fulfillment. And number 2, that's a poor utilization of everybody's time, because then it creates expectations. Well, Dad wasn't at my 3rd string soccer scrimmage. No, Dad wasn't. Because Dad can't be at everything. Dad can be at one thing, Dad can't be at everything, right? But maybe for you, you want to be at everything. Cool. It's gonna eat up your available time. Like, you gotta understand that. You know, life is full of decisions. Where are you going? What are you doing? So, and then the other thing is, I think a lot of people, not everybody, but a lot of people spend a lot of time lounging and a lot of time thinking. And if you're a lounger or a thinker, that's cool. Those are not my character traits. Like I said, I'm like, put a plan together, let's get it to 80%, and then we execute, and then we're going. And we'll course correct. I'll find the other 95% or the other 15% to bring us to 95, because nothing's ever 100% perfect, right? We'll make that up as we go. We'll figure it out. But, I mean, anybody who's ever been on a mission with me knows that. That's how I roll. Hey man, we're here. We'll figure it out. Do the next right thing. So, you know, how do you do it? Just do it. Put it in 10% more than you're doing right now, and apply sound business principles. Just basics. You got to make more money than you spend, right? And don't on the front end. Like, I know a lot of people on the front end who are like, well, I really want to make $40 an hour, so I'm just going to start charging $40 an hour right now, which is fine if you have the skills. If you don't have the skills, there's no point in charging $40 an hour. You should be doing whatever you can to learn right now. You should be charging $12 an hour, and your sales pitches, I'm charging $12 an hour because I could very well make some mistakes, and I'm using this as a learning opportunity. You charge 12 until you're charging 24, then you're charging 36, and then you're charging 48. Boom, 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 boom. And then when you're at 48, man, you've got a lot of history of doing this kind of work. You're developing expertise. You're a subject matter expert now. You know how to do the things, right? So, yeah, put 10% more into whatever it is that you're doing right now. And then scheduling-wise, just make it happen. You can't do everything, so pick what you are going to do. I hope this helps somebody. I realize I'm tap dancing all over the place here, but, you know, the 2 questions, or 2 of the questions that I get most often is, where do I get the money, and where do I get the time? There's an answer. Shalom.